wouldn't say there's really anything too meaningful about it, except for it's like for like my own selfish desires, or not anything. It's to like develop and create an entire library worth of footage that just captures the moment, you know, the things that are happening around us right now.
Hey, Red, right?
Yeah, Cam.
Yeah, nice to meet you. So it's $250 for the camera, right? I guess I hope to figure something out about the world, but not necessarily anything in particular, just whatever it happens to show me.
Excuse me, ma'am. I was wondering if I could shoot your portrait. I'm working on a little project trying to get a whole series of strangers in Vancouver in different areas.
I'm a stranger?
Yeah?
I'm strangest.
And I love the outfit. It's really wicked.
Okay, yeah.
Lately been feeling the hate, try not to reciprocate, I can only give what I take, I don't take nothing away. If I'm not given permission to, love is just what I do, people can't appreciate. Love is not silent, there's something to say, most everyone tired of living this way. Love is the courage to actually change our behavior and notice the shit that we say and the things that we do that are born out of hate. Like bars on the cages and bridges that kill us, that lock us away, made by the state that are there to maintain corporate slavery. There is just so much to say. Bars in the hands of the police in Latin America, beating indigenous heads left for dead as they walk away. They do it to get paid, they do it every day. The money they make ain't shit to the companies here in this city that pay and they wait. With assassination and secret security under the table, you hear what I say. Yet we maintain, pretending it's nobody's business when half of the forest is burning away. Indigenous women in our country ain't safe. The land and the people get treated the same. Land and the people get treated the same. Land and the people get treated the same. What country we in doesn't matter to people who see us as slaves, see us as obstacles up in their way, who proven already that they will do anything just to maintain a system that's built upon killing us all and then robbing our graves, killing us all and then robbing our graves, killing us all and then robbing our graves. And I don't wanna know no more. There's too much and I don't see no more hope, left but love, left but love. Say I don't wanna know no more. There's too much and I don't see, well, no more hope, left but love.
So what kind of film do you think we should make?
What do you want to make? What makes you happy? What gives you passion and where are you gonna? I think don't think about money when you're making it. Just think about feeling good about making it, and then all kinds of stuff will happen. But all I can think about now are little vignettes about people and putting that together. But you guys obviously have a plan, a master plan. So you got it figured out. Yeah, maybe, maybe.
The universe recycles everything. Everything is all of stardust, and nothing is ever wasted. Though we don't remember the realm we came from, but it is the experience of being in this realm that we take to the next realm.
Wait, hold on. So is this supposed to be a documentary or more of like a fictional type of thing?
I guess I haven't really decided that yet.
Well, where's the arc? Like, is there a story?
I haven't really figured that part out yet either. But if you wait by the river long enough, the bodies of your enemy will float by.
And what's that supposed to mean?
It means that if we go out and stand on the corner with cameras in our hands for long enough, the story will find us.
Word.
So what do you think about talking with strangers, usually?
I think it's cool. It's good to talk to strangers. It's good to socialize with people and like what's up, man? Right? Yeah.
Well, talking with strangers, my mother always told me.
Don't do it.
Don't talk to strangers.
Well, I spent a lot of time in Hawaii, Philippines, even Orange County, California, which people wouldn't think of as being personable, but Vancouver, yeah, I just haven't had the best experience here with that kind of thing. So it's not the kind of place where you get up in the morning, go for an early walk, and see somebody else walking down the same sidewalk as you and you say hi kind of thing. They're kind of taking it back when you do that, right? So
I guess like when in a hurry, then I just, put on blinders and go on my merry way. But when I do love people watching, yeah, it's interesting to sort of look up every now and then. Yeah, sure.
I learned how to make people talk. And do you know how you make people talk?
I'm learning. How do you? You tell me.
I'll tell you. Then I say, you see, I arrived to see you today, and I'm asking you a question. How are you doing today, and how was your sleep?
How are you doing today? How was your sleep?
Good. Really good, actually. Yeah, didn't do much last night, had a beer, and then went to bed.
I've just been approached by these three gentlemen asking if I had something to say. And I do. I've had a series of 8 God-given spiritual experiences. The first 7 can be categorized as personal guidance. They were between 1995 and 2001. But on December 26th, 2005, I woke with this statement. And the 7 previous ones were also statements. Quote, a small Swiss village, il est né de divin enfant, unquote. And I immediately woke from sleep knowing that this meant that Jesus of Nazareth, the Messiah Christ, had been reborn in, quote, a small Swiss village, unquote, on Christmas Day 2005. And that's what I have to tell you. It was a big story. I've written an article about this, gotten lots of trouble about it. But the gist of it is that this promise that Jesus made when he was alive has come true. The quote-unquote second coming has occurred. Jesus of Nazareth was reborn in, quote, a small Swiss village, unquote, on Christmas Day 2005. What questions do you have for him? What hopes? And what love? Thank you.
Thanks for sharing.
There was this guy who was constantly getting in trouble because he was experiencing conflict with other people in the shared computer room. And he was just always kind of antagonizing people in there, and he was really worried that this was going to lead to eviction somehow. So I was like, well, if you don't want to, be in trouble all the time, why don't you just stop, for lack of a better word, being such a dick to the other people in the computer room? And he looked at me, he took a pause, and he said, and I'll never forget this, he said, don't you think if I could be any nicer, I would? And that has always stuck with me. And it's not to say that that's licensed to go and be a jerk, but what it means is people have stories they bring with them. People are coming from somewhere. They are not their ostensible surface appearance. We're contextual people. And before you decide to make a judgment about somebody or assume you know what someone else's life was like or why someone is the way they are, I think it's important we see each other with humility and just understand that there's probably a lot more to the story than we can see, like now in the present moment.
It's hard for me sometimes, and I think it's hard for a lot of people, to just be in the moment.
But like this moment's holy, right? And I feel like film can let us see that, can like frame it so that we see like, this moment, holy.
Meet new people, embrace the newness that's happening. I think too many people live in the past. It was this way then. Well, it's not then, it's now. So live now.
Went down to the river, couldn't get across. Jumped on your papa because I thought he was a horse. Now ride him over. Coca-Cola, lemon soda, sauce of ice cream, soap and water for to keep it clean. Up she jumped, down she fell, mouth flew open like a mussel shell. Now ride her over. Coca-Cola, lemon soda, sauce of ice cream, soap and water for to keep it clean. Sister was a tabby, daddy was a bear. Put a muzzle on your mama cause she had bad hair. Now ride him over with Coca-Cola, lemon soda, sauce of ice cream, soap and water for to keep it clean. Wanna see that elephant laugh down the river and yes, yes, yes. Now ride him over Coca-Cola, lemon soda, sauce of ice cream, soap and collar and your T.I.P. now. Riding over Coca-Cola, lemon soda, saucer of ice cream, soap and water, for to keep it clean. Get the rabbit on L.O.G. and put on the stump like a D.O.G. now. Ride him over Coca-Cola, lemon soda, saucer of ice cream, soap and water, for to keep it clean. Run your doctor, run your fast, and see what's the matter with this. Yes, 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 now. Ride him over Coca-Cola, lemon soda, saucer of ice cream, soap and water, for to keep it clean.
Okay, ready? Okay, my name's Glenn. I'm a self-employed native artist, and I think that that Prime Minister should clean his own back door, his own backyard before he cleans up before he lets anybody else in his country. Look at us, man. As native people are living in third world country, and there's people coming in from a third world country, and they're giving them brand new houses and everything. And for us, they're not doing nothing for us. Our water is tainted and everything like that. They ain't doing nothing about it. Clean your own backyard before you let any other people in our place, in our country. It was our country to start out with. It wasn't yours. So, you know, you come in here and wreck it and everything like that, and, you know, and we got to live with it, not you. You're rich. We're not in your richness. You're not looking after us, you know. You're looking after everybody else, but everybody else at us. There's people living on the streets starving. You're not helping them. You're just rich will get richer, the poor will get poorer. That's all I got to say.
Cities are designed to have classes. You can't really have a city work if there's not classes. And people normally judge their wealth and by how they're able to treat other classes and stuff like that. So I mean, like, I like places like this where there's lots of sort of open-minded people. And the flip side is if you meet people who are, like even the people who drive, like I consider them pretty much lost.
Hello. I have a quick question. Where is the love?
Huh?
Where is the love?
Love. The money is love.
Where's the love? That's a really intriguing question. I would say the love is wherever you seek to place it. Is that profound?
I don't know, man. I'm 22 years old. I'm still trying to figure the full thing out. But as far as love is for me so far, it's the feeling I get when she smiles at me. It's just, I can't explain it. It melts literally every bit inside me.
I had one beautiful instance of coming on a bus and feeling really down, and this older woman came up to me and said, "You have the most beautiful smile in the world." And I don't know how she got that because I was not feeling very smiley.
Hey.
Have you read this?
I don't think I have, no.
I think you'd like it.
What's that?
I saw that camera around your neck. You're one of them, aren't you?
What of who?
You believe you can put the world in a frame. But do you think you can show us something we haven't already seen?
Maybe.
Can I read you something?
Sure.
Where shall you seek beauty?
And how shall you find her unless she herself be your way and your guide? And how shall you speak of her except she be the weaver of your speech? The aggrieved and the injured say, beauty is kind and gentle. Like a young mother half shy of her own glory, she walks among us. And the passionate say, nay, beauty is a thing of might and dread. Like the tempest, she shakes the earth beneath us and the sky above us. The tired and weary say, beauty is of soft whisperings. She speaks in our spirit. Her voice yields to our silences like a faint light that quivers in the fear of shadow. But the restless say, we have heard her shouting among the mountains, and with her cries came the sound of hooves and the beating of wings and the roaring of lions. At night, the watchmen of the city say, beauty shall rise with the dawn from the east. And at noontide, the toilers and the wayfarers say, we've seen her leaning over the earth from the windows of the sunset. In winter, say the snowbound, she shall come with the spring leaping upon the hills. And in the summer heat, the reapers say, we have seen her dancing with the autumn leaves, and we saw a drift of snow in her hair. All these things have you said of beauty, yet in truth you spoke not of her, but of needs unsatisfied. And beauty is not a need, but an ecstasy. It is not a mouth thirsting, nor an empty hand stretched forth, but rather a heart inflamed and a soul enchanted. It is not the image you would see, nor the song you would hear, but rather an image you see though you close your eyes, and a song you hear though you shut your ears. It is not the sap within the furrowed bark, nor a wing attached to a claw, but rather a garden forever in bloom, and a flock of angels forever in flight. Beauty is life when life unveils her holy face. But you are life, and you are the veil. Beauty is eternity gazing at itself in a mirror. But you are eternity, and you are the mirror.
See you around.
Nice.
Hey, what the fuck, man? What are you doing? Hey, you know where the fuck you are?
Sorry, man. I'm a photographer. It's for an art project.
What's something you really care about?
My phone. Yeah, my phone. Yeah. My family, my friends.
What's important to me is inclusion and having a city that is, not just for a certain socioeconomic class of people. I do want a city where there's room for representation for marginalized and low-income people in the downtown east side, indigenous people, and, groups outside of those that tend to hold power traditionally.
This government needs to be overthrown, but not that badly.
You got that right. There's too much rules.
Yeah, there's
too much rules.
Yeah, too many corporate buddies in the system, and it's got to be overthrown. That's all I got to say about that.
Is just how wealth works in our economy, and looking at how things are so slanted for people that have a massive amount of money already. And I'm curious about that because there are a lot of conspiracies around sort of a group like the Bilderbergs or like a specific wealthy group, but I think it's more just the system in general is set up in a way in which people that are really leveraged out have to keep spending more and more money to protect their small incomes, and people that are very wealthy and have a lot of money to loan tend to get a lot of extra power just from a little bit of extra wealth.
People want what they want, and most of the time it's money, and when they have a certain amount of money is never good enough. They want more, and one. They want a big pile. But they didn't find happiness that way. The happiness is to give. We can give you time, give a smile, give a phone call, or to give. Myself, I feel really happy when I give.
You're very pretty. Yes, you're very pretty. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye.
Act of kindness is when you're just out of the blue nice to somebody and maybe give them something or compliment them, and then if they are happy and joyful, then they'll hopefully give it an act of kindness to another person.
Hey, what you drawing? I'm trying to create a hybrid genetic interpretation of biology and spirit. Are humans the only thing you're made out of? Sure. It's pretty.
Here, have a flower.
You're such a sweetheart. Thank you, love.
Thank you.
Madame, s'il vous plaît.
Maintenant, je fatigue déjà beaucoup, alors.
Est-ce que vous êtes heureux, monsieur?
Oh, me parlez pas tout ça.
Peut-être pas heureux, mais je suis content de vivre. Je suis content de vivre. Je suis content de me lever le matin. I'm happy wake up morning. I'm happy sleeping. Living is not hard. You know, it's easy. You know, wake up, sleeping, moving. It's easy. The problem is the fucking leadership, the money, and the constraint you have for win your life, for the, you look, you know, the standard chip, the standard, you look master, you know, because you have money. You have no money, you look freaking shit, you know?
Yeah, you know, we're all judged. We're all looked at constantly, you know, and told what to do and how to be, and you know, that sticks. It sticks in your head, it sticks in your mind, and it carries with you throughout the day. Even if someone judged you last week about what you were wearing, you know, you might hold on to that for a year and not wear that article of clothing or something. You know, you think about shit way too much. For work, I'm an undertaker, so yeah, you're working for like basically funeral service, transfer service. It's like a transfer company that is hired by all the funeral homes. So we're like third-party transfer for the funerals.
Okay.
So we go to we pick up from care homes and hospices and houses too, shit like that, and hospitals, and then we bring bodies to the funeral home.
Interesting. How'd you end up in
Fun
that
job.
line of work?
Craigslist. Yeah. It's been a life changer, to be honest. It's kind of, I got into it because it was weird and interesting and something new, but it's kind of opened my eyes to really appreciate things in a different way. Be a little more lighter on everything too. You know, nothing is as heavy as you really see it as in the moment. Enjoy all the little things. It's made me appreciate life a little clearer. But it can also be pretty depressing too and heavy, you know, like it's hard not to take it home. I've left calls in tears before just because, you know, you end up bonding and connecting with the family in like a fraction of a moment because the emotions are so raw and out there. And people are so real and in the moment that there's no filter. You know, so you either really connect or you don't, and sometimes it can be kind of heavy. But yeah, it's an interesting job. I don't know. I just look for fuel for art, right? To make music from. So any sort of spark is what I'm looking for.
For my style blog, it's that color and passion that people have for life, and style blog for how they decorate themselves, how they adorn themselves, how they carry themselves. It doesn't have to be what they're wearing, but it can be that, you know, that little spark that people have. That's my passion, finding that and using that to fuel my own creative pursuits. I can't tell you the idea. Okay, don't anyone steal this idea.
I've had an idea of where I would like to explore projection mapping. Similar to what, let's say, graffitis are. The same idea where you just drive up to a certain wall, like let's say the wall over here or any wall, and in the space of 5 minutes you kind of project something, keep it there for 30 minutes for whoever passes by randomly. It's not planned or anything like that. Sees it and then tear it down and move somewhere else. Something that would make it being only in the moment. So you can't plan it, you can't go visit it, it just happens, you saw it, nobody else saw it because nobody else was there in those 30 minutes that you were there. Yeah, that's something I would like to do.
I love watching all the differences we all have. The birthmarks, the scars, the startled fidgets, the nervous looks, the way they shout, the way they whisper as I walk by. Some keep it in, some keep it out. Do they feel shame? Do they find strength? Do they fight guilt? Is rage all inside? Are they going to cry? Are they numb? Are they reveling in their state? Do they find love? Watching love is my favorite part. It's a laugh, a kiss, a cry, a tender touch, a tear. It's a memory so painful. It's a decade-old feeling of absolute glorious bliss. It's a subtle glance with depths of lust. It's ever-changing just as you and me. I want to watch you behave. Your behavior abundant, and being you and you and you and you is all you and me need to be.
No hay nadie famoso, no hay nadie más o menos guapo, no hay nadie fuera de lo normal, pero son todo expresiones, son todo, sobre todo la expresión de la cara, que en España decimos la cara es el espejo del alma, y lo que tu cara refleja es lo que tú eres, y yo en lo que me fijo mucho es en la cara de las personas, en sus gestos, en sus expresiones, y intento adivinar, intento pensar a través de esa expresión qué él siente, qué él hace, qué él piensa, y pues cuando encuentro algo que me llama la atención, algo que creo que es especial, pues hago la foto si puedo y la llevo a mi cuarto, la escaneo y la meto en mi colección.
So what are you up to today?
I'm going to the library to write a very difficult blog post. I'm Muslim. I just happen to pray around the corner where we have an Islamic center here in downtown Vancouver, Canada. And I have been struggling with trying to write this blog post. Last night, as it's timely for me as I'm recording this, but for you out there who are watching this wherever you may be, the country has experienced a place of worship where somebody came in and murdered people who were at prayer last night. This has been on my mind because some months ago I was actually in that exact building praying in Ramadan. I have a separate project where I traveled across the country in Ramadan in 2016, and I was praying in a different place of worship, breaking my fast. So I began in Newfoundland, I ended up in Vancouver, and along the way, on day 10 or 11, I was in Quebec City and Saint Foy, and I prayed at the two places. And so that, I may be being articulate and coherent right now, but inside I am a very broken person. And they were the right people, they were in the right place at the right time, doing exactly what they needed to. They were in the right city, in the right province, in the right country, and for that, they lost their lives. I don't think I have anything else to say.
Hold yourself up before you fall down. Lord, you know that they ain't your legs, your arms, your hands, your feet now. Oh, you better hold yourself up before you fall down. Lord, you know that they ain't your legs, your arms, your hands, your feet now. Oh, you better hold yourself up before you fall down. Lord, you know that they ain't your legs, your arms, your hands, your feet now. Oh, you better hold yourself up before you fall down. Lord, you know that they ain't your legs, your arms, your hands, your feet. Well, I can't even walk right. It'll just get worse with time. When you can't run fast enough, then you get caught and die. I can't even think up enough words to make a decent rhyme. I'm sorry if I don't tell you how I feel all the time. It's a real problem, I'll be working on it. And I work fast, but I won't work it all when the task is dawning. You know that I wanna change the way that I relate. And you know that I could grow love for you, but that I hate. Like everything I see outside on the day-to-day. No, it's hard to leave the house that I gotta stay on a tip that's hard to break. Learn to cry and learn to take all the time out and away. Until you do, then you could say, how do you hold yourself up before you fall down? Lord, you know that they ain't your legs, your arms, your hands, your feet now. Oh, you better hold yourself up before you fall down. Lord, you know that they ain't your legs, your arms, your hands, your feet now. Oh well, and you can keep your head up, but only if you want to. Not when you forget that every life has its own value. Not when you caught up in all the bullshit that surrounds you. Letting insecurity and self-hatred may drown you. I know I tell lies too, silence and omission. The time it take to look inside and make the right decisions. The time it take to shut my mouth and finally learn to listen. Maybe too much for anyone, I guess that we all mission. Look, that structural integrity. Don't you go falling through cracks. When you do and we hurt you, you know that there's no turning back. Put the stone up in the way to knock the train off of the track. Cause I don't know if I could stand alone the strength I lack. How do we hold ourselves up before we fall down? Lord, you know that they ain't your legs, your arms, your hands, your feet now. Oh, you better hold yourself up before you fall down. Lord, you know that they ain't your legs, your arms, your hands, your feet now. Oh, you better hold yourself up before you fall down. Lord, you know that they ain't your legs, your arms, your hands, your feet now. Oh, you better hold yourself up before you fall.
First Nations have 2 arms, 2 legs, a heartbeat, eyes, just like everybody else. And I believe that we need to be acknowledged as a human being too.
I find that's the biggest issue is that when you bring up things like racism, people put up walls right away and get defensive, and then it becomes a very difficult conversation and uncomfortable conversation to have. So the more willing we are to listen to each other, I think the more we can learn.
Oh, and listening, that is so important. Listening and making sure, not just thinking about the next thing you're going to say, but like listening to the other person and then compromising and kind of getting out of our own heads.
Do you have the time?
The time? Time. I think it's a little after 3.
I have 2 watches on. I don't mean that. I mean, have you time to listen to me?
Yeah, we do, absolutely.
All right.
My story is a series of stories. I'm somebody that's very enthusiastic about stories, actually. I'm writing my story, my life for my children and my grandchildren. I came here in 1970 from the U.S., which just happens to be a time of the Vietnam War. So I came as a Vietnam War resistor, what most people call a draft dodger. Yeah, and I found, I came from Detroit, Midwest U.S., and I came to BC because my wife's from the Philippines, and we came to the warmest spot that we could find.
I moved here from Calgary, Alberta to ride my BMX bike and travel. I go to Emily Carr, so I paint. And I'm just trying to make enough money to buy art supplies and eat, pay rent.
When I was a little kid, my aunt gave me a tour of the Andy Warhol exhibit at the Vancouver Art Gallery. And the way she did it, I got a really deeper understanding of the complexities of what he was working on and the period in history in which he was working. And it really stuck with me. And so I've tried in my work since then to create similar experiences for people to understand art not simply as an instantaneous aesthetic pleasure, although it can be that, but also a provocation to think about history in the world and politics and love and relationships and everything.
The idea is that prior to the Industrial Revolution,
tools were a function of humans. So you say you have like, I don't know, anything that you're working with, you're the variable in that, right? Like you're the one using that tool in a specific way. And then kind of post-industrial revolution, humans actually became kind of a function of the tool or of the machine, if you have it. Like now everyone's working in assembly lines and they have one small function to kind of, you know, keep this larger machine working. And I had a really negative view of that. I just thought, you know, I was kind of being run by this agenda of my camera, of, you know, this kind of post-industrial machine. And so I started, you know, kind of looking into it, and the technology of the camera, you know, it's progressing so fast that we're kind of losing our own agency to be able to take meaningful photos. What's happening is almost like with the invention of things like, you know, like automatic focus and like just one button cameras and digital photography especially, because you can just kind of infinitely take photos without any real consequence. What that's kind of done is it's almost made people, it's almost like programmed the people into thinking what, you know, a good photo is, and they kind of stop analyzing photography for what they are. They're still photos, right? But these photos almost come to take a state of things rather than a photograph. So when you see a photograph, all of a sudden you're thinking about like, okay, that's the actual world, right? Like, and you know, we've deconstructed this a lot in terms of like media and stuff like that. Like when we see a commercial, we're not just gonna blindly buy into a lot of this stuff. Same with like, you know, politics and all this. But we still kind of are lacking in a lot of ways in terms of what, even just like a simple photo, like what people are thinking of like art photography too, is like, it's a lot of kind of like putting into categories of things, I find. And like, that's the way that it's almost like evolving our minds to think that way. So I'm kind of thinking in the lines of like, you know, specific photos that people take of themselves or from friends, like selfies or photographs that are just kind of meant to, it's almost like advertising yourself or your life in a way, right? It's not so much about what you feel anymore or what the kind of like the magic of actually what's going on in the camera and like this little black box if you have it, right? It's become just like a magical thing that has lost its magic almost.
Wake up! Wake up, wake up, wake up! Up you wake, up you wake, up you wake, up you wake!
Good morning, sir.
Hi there.
I'm good, how are you?
Fabulous.
How was your sleep?
Could have been longer.
You got any interesting thoughts as you're biking along this morning?
She's a careful rider. I appreciate that.
When you're riding around here the streets of Vancouver, do you ever feel like you're in a race?
Only with myself. It's hard to get caught up, not to get caught up in it sometimes, though.
I told him to go the other side, but whatever.
I guess they got it blocked off.
Oh, so he got down to there and then turned around. Oh, okay. Okay, thanks.
Yep.
I've been doing construction 28 years. When you watch TV, you see 100 doctor shows, 100 cop shows. You know, you see all these shows about all these people who are doing stuff for people in their lives, and those are honorable jobs. But the guys out here who are making the city to be what it beautifully is, and where everyone has to live, where all these firefighters and doctors and all them live, we have people die on a constant basis, you know, and it's no different. I know we're not running into a fire to save a little child or save a animal or anything, but we're making it so people can live here. And to me, I think that's a pretty honorable job, and I think they should get a little more credit. Everyone says, you know, oh, the price is so high, I'm gonna move away, and where are you gonna go? It's eventually going to spread. The world's getting bigger, not smaller. The best way to build is up, right? You keep everything low, you know, it's not sustainable.
Three years ago, I was
really heavy into the church. I was like super Roman Catholic. I was
Really?
like, oh, I taught Sunday school. I was at mass 3 times a week.
What the fuck happened to you?
I was engaged by the time I was 16. Like, like didn't show my shoulders, didn't show my knees. We didn't have TV.
Did
you have a promise ring too? Like, yeah, I did. Nope. And and then I dropped acid. I'll never forget my first acid trip. And it was fucking amazing. And I just like realized, I was like, no, we are all like connected to each other. You choose your family. And if there is something going on, there's something going on. But when it comes down to it, like, you are a product of yourself or you're a product of society. And that's what I learned from drugs, is like, and like the people that I fucking met too, like all the crazy kids are just like the best people. Like, I just moved into this house and like getting me water and shit, like when I'm really fucked up, or like putting blankets on me. Like, you create this fucking family and it's beautiful and you don't find that anywhere else, Like, all of these kids that just like, we work together and we take care of each other and we fucking love each other to the end of the world, and like...
Yeah, we live in a punk house full of 16 people.
Give or take, depending on the day.
At this one party house I lived at, we'd all just like crash in this one bed. It was like a single mattress, and we fit like 10 of us in this big cuddle puddle and everyone's like detoxing, like sweating out their drugs and stuff. And you're like, you wake up, you like peel yourself out. You're like, oh, get away from me, and fucking. But there's so many other people, and it's great. I love it.
So like, I don't put much effort in a lot of the time. Like, I there are a few people that I really try to connect with and like I really, really bond with, and some people that are just kind of like, I know they're gonna pass by and they're kind of just acquaintances. But when I like put a lot of effort in and somebody kind of like steps me over, passes me by, or whatever, it's like, that's the biggest fear for me, is like committing to a friendship or committing to something like that. Not even like a romantic relationship, but just like, every best friend I've had has stabbed me in the back several times, and I've never had that real like, friendship, the link. So yeah, that's probably it. Committing to somebody that would be like a best friend. That's probably my biggest fear.
I think the problem maybe is that most of the answers that I'm going to have to your questions are things that I have not completely decided. I want everyone even that I know to know about. And so most of the things that have formed me as a person, and maybe this is true of a lot of people, I consider to be intensely private experiences. And so deciding when to be open about those things and with whom, having that remain a personal choice at every given moment and every interaction I have with someone feels important to me. And so I feel like I can't necessarily tell you about the formative experiences that I've had because I wouldn't have that power anymore.
You remember in 96, 97, we had that 3.5 feet of snow?
I was a bit younger.
Okay, well, yeah, anyway, we had like 3.5 feet of snow. It shut the city down. And then I hitchhiked back to Toronto in that snow, in that horrible weather. Yeah, and then I became dope sick and I withdrew from heroin. On the highway. I was hitchhiking, yeah. It was brutal. It was very painful. I was miserable. To explain it was like every joint was rusted, so it hurt to move. I was eating snow off the highway because I was so dehydrated, but I would keep puking it up because my body just was rejecting everything, right? So yeah, then I went to Medicine Hat and detoxed in the hospital. You know what, I'm one of those people that fell through the cracks. I was abused. I was raised in Children's Aid because my mom was abusive and I was molested. So I think that part of my addiction problem is not having an outlet or ability or feel safe or comfortable enough to talk about it. And I think there's this mental health push with Claire Hughes and Howie Mandel. And I think we really need to stop looking at mental afflictions, whether it's hereditary or self-induced, like depression. We need to take a more merciful stance, I think. Because even I, growing up, mental health issues, you just didn't talk about it. It's kind of like cancer, right? No one really likes to talk about it, but I don't think I'd be as addicted to or have that kind of addictive personality if I had proper outlets, proper channels.
What's the best part of your day?
Waking up in a warm bed.
And what's the worst?
Loneliness.
Do you have a favorite saying or quote or words to live by?
Thank you.
You destroy my house, you knock down the walls, and you find the people that I held close, and you put them in the ground, and you take them away, and you put them in the ground, and you take them away. Corner man called today, take me away. And you gotta go, and everyone here feels the way I do. It's oh, so clear, oh so clear, and oh so clear. And leave me alone, I gotta get some sleep. The bags beneath my eyes got my mother praying for me, and my mother's praying for me.
Well, I don't know if there's going to be as many young men who will be able to do what my husband did. He was an immigrant from Holland, came out here in 1951. He didn't have much education because, of course, as you know, Holland was had police action with Indonesia right after the war, and he was called up for 5 years to work with the army. So when he came out here, he didn't have much except a little bit of hand work that he could do. Started off washing dishes at the Vancouver hotel, but he built up his abilities and he became very, very successful. He's gone now for 2 years, but he made a wonderful life for himself and for his family. So, you know, if you really have the know-how, you can do it. And if you have faith in yourself, you just keep on going and it will come through.
I grew up in Yellowknife, Northwest Territories, and it was a hard life. And I had a tough mom, and I mean a good, tough mom, believed in strength for women. And unfortunately, I lost her in 1982 to a fire. But it's interesting because I'm about the age she was when she died, and here I am doing some of the same stand-up stuff for women that she did back in the 70s. So I'm working on documentaries about women's rights. In fact, we just shot the protest that happened, and we're doing a documentary around it. Working on youth soccer as a developmental tool for kids with limitations. Sort of seeing what we can make happen in the general limitations we have in our own society.
And what are you thinking about as you're going about your day today?
The naysayers. Like people who would be like, maybe she hasn't done enough or isn't good enough or blah, blah, blah. It's a lot of weird self-talk, like the doubts, right? Yeah. I don't know.
What would you say to the naysayers if they were right
Fuck
here?
off. I'm gonna do it anyway. I mean, and we all should just give the big finger to everybody and do our thing.
This is The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. Do you know it?
Yeah, I've read it before.
Oh, yeah. Well, this book is actually kind of messing with me. The other day on a bus, some complete stranger recommended it to me for no reason. She said she thought I'd like it. But since I started reading it, it's been really weird. It's as if I've read it before, but I know I haven't. But the words just seem so familiar. It's weird. Like, this last line was, "You would know in words that which you've always known and thought." That cool?
Yeah.
You know in words that which you've always known and thought. It's kind of like exactly how I've been feeling as I've been reading this.
That's really incredible. Can I take your photo?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm doing a project where I'm...
Book Love is my project where I take a photo of someone holding their favorite book, or sometimes people bring like 7 books, so then it'll be them holding all of them or one at a time. It came from my desire to take portraits of people, but to show a little bit of a deeper facet than just the person. Well, you can see what they value in a way, like the girl who picked the survival guide manual. Clearly, the reason that was the most important to her is that she felt having outdoor survival and knowing how to catch a fish with no line and stuff was the most important. I like chatting to people and kind of getting to know them, and using a framework of books is a really cool way to do that. I don't think I really strive for beauty. I kind of want realism. One of the reasons I had a difficult time trying to work as a commercial photographer is that a lot of people want to be photoshopped so their bodies or faces look different than they are, so they can achieve a standard that they feel matches how they feel in their head, or they want other people to respect, and I have a really hard time with that. I think those kind of things can be very destructive to a person, but I would rather have like a realistic, like really soft portrait of a person without adding a lot of fluff and altering it, because I think like the actual way a person is can be beautiful. It doesn't matter if they don't really look a way that other people accept, and it's just like they can be beautiful just because they exist, not because they fit some kind of standard.
I was reading something else, but I left it on the bus. So I picked this up at like one of the free little libraries, which like there are a couple around here, which are fucking bomb. It's Notes from the Underground, Dostoevsky. It's always like on the list of like fucking... Literature is basically all the books you're supposed to read, but no one reads, right? And found an excuse to finally read it, and he was going on about, oh man, I wish I could read out. I fucking forgot where he was, but he was like, I should have saved it. But it was fucking like awful. It's like, oh, like we men of modernity like to think like there's progress and we believe in reason and rationale and things we do make sense, not like days of ye old. And it's like, well, what happened after modernity? Like a whole lot of genocide. It's like, oh, like things are better because we're more self-aware about it. It's like, does that help? And like, even if we think we're self-aware about like our actions, are we really? Like, do we have a real grasp on it? And it doesn't even matter, because even when we think we do, like, we just fucking love doing shitty things with those ideas. Anyway, have you guys interviewed yourselves?
No, I don't think I'm following.
So think about it like this. What makes a good photograph good?
I mean, the right timing, lighting, good composition.
Right, sometimes you like an image with bad lighting.
Sometimes.
And other times you like an image with bad composition.
Okay,
so basically all those traits that you have just listed are conventions made up by people to describe good art. It's not that they're necessary or essential into making something good. So what makes something good? This is what person questions, and the answer he finds is quality. If something has it, we know it because we feel it instinctually. It's the exact reason a species such as ourselves strive to make things better. The exact reason we choose one mate to reproduce with over another. It's the sort of things that perpetuate life as we know it. It's a lot like God, depending on what that may mean to you, of course, but person believes quality to come from what the Chinese Taoists refer to as the Tao.
Okay. So what?
So basically, I'd say this is one of my favorite places within the city, and you would said this spot is where it's at. So that's sort of what I thought of. This is a quality spot.
Absolutely, man. Quality spot for quality conversations.
Anyway, you want to hear one of my favorite Tao Te Ching verses? It goes like this. The spectrum blinds the eye. Harmony deafens the ear. Seasonings deaden taste. Getting ahead in the rat race makes you crazy. Treasure hunting will lead you astray. Pay attention to your belly, not your eyes. Let go without, take hold within.
And cut. Nice.
So I guess I've kind of come to terms with it in the way of just, thinking about the camera as a function of my life. I'm not trying to take photos for any specific reason other than kind of just for myself now, I guess. And I think really that, for me, that's kind of reconciled a lot of this stuff. It's because, I am the only agent in these photographs, and I don't, I don't give any fucks about what anyone else thinks about them, because for me, it's my own kind of like visual poetry, if you have it, and most people hate poetry, so.
Though much is taken, much abides, and though we are not now that strength which in old days moved earth and heaven, that which we are, one equal temper of heroic hearts made weak by time and fate, but strong in will, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield.
So, I don't get it. Is that the end?
I guess I'm not really sure.
Well, shouldn't we have, learned something?
Well, I think we did learn something. Don't you?
I don't know. What did you learn?
It's all levels, right? Self-improvement. Just try to be a decent human being. Try to be nice to other people. Catch yourself when you're not. Be accountable to yourself and to others. Hold the people who purport to represent you accountable. Participate in politics. Participate in your community. Just go out. Don't be afraid. Be a part of something. Just do something, right?
You're gonna die. Just one of those acknowledgments of mortality, recognizing that each day is very precious because it could very well be the last. Try to appreciate it as such.
How do you think we should end the movie?
With a big collage of all the people you've met, just little things, and we're all the same, kind of, we're the same, but we each bring a different color to the collage.
Hey, can I take your guys' picture?
Why?
Still may never understand this world that we've been
you push us down, then lift us up, we make a sound. And all it does is push us down, try to hold up. It push us down, try to hold up. But you don't know, if you don't know, if you don't know, Lord, it don't wanna see us living. You know we're giving a gift from heaven. Then lift us up when you push us down. Lift us up if we make a sound. When all you do is push us down, try to hold up. It push us down, try to hold up, but you don't know.
And that's it. That's my spiel. And if you're recording this, I'll sue you.
Oh man, these are very wide-ranging questions.
And fuck Donald Trump.
That's a great and loaded question.
Yeah.
Actually, people are the same. You know, when Sting said Russians love their children too? Everybody loves their children. Everybody has love. Everybody has hate. Everybody wants to be secure. Everybody wants to be safe. Everybody wants to love. We're the same. On a basic level, we're the same.
Are you serious with that question?
Oh. Your question is poorly phrased. I don't know how to answer that one.
I'm terrible at math.
That's a big question.